All right. Let me get situated here. Okay, looks like we're rolling. Can everybody hear me okay? Last time I was talking for a bit and no one could hear me. So let me give it 1 second. Yes. Okay. Great. Excellent. Yeah, so I've got like a little weird setup here where I'm connected to my computer over there. So if you notice that I'm like looking around all like shifty, it's not because I'm looking out for the cops or anything. It's because I'm like looking over to my computer to see if there's like a delay or something like that. But yeah, guys, I'm excited today because my channel's been blowing up. It's been doing real well lately. I posted that Cloudberry video, like 3 weeks ago, something, not even 3 weeks ago. And since then, this thing happened where YouTube has been suggesting it, but they're doing it like more than usual. This is something that every once in a huge while, I would notice like this big spike in activity on my channel. And like the first time it happened was maybe like 3-4 years ago. And then all of a sudden there's a little rush of people that would come to the channel. I think that happened with the most expensive mango video that I did a while ago in Japan. So for whatever reason, like YouTube was like, oh, okay, people seem to like this one. And then they started like suggesting it in odd places. So people who normally would not be searching for a fruit video would come across the video and then like come onto the channel, which is like, that is like all, as a YouTuber, that's what you kind of like strive for. You're just like, please, YouTube gods, give me a suggested video. That's like, you just kind of like hope that happens. And this is probably like the third time, maybe fourth, I'd say fourth time that it's happened. But sometimes I feel like depending on how well the video is received, it might be getting suggested for like a day, or it might be getting suggested for like a week or something like that. And the Cloudberry video is going to a height that I have never seen before on this channel. In the past few months, just like, well, I mean, at the beginning of, I guess like, I think it was like April or May, I hit 100,000 subscribers. And that took me years to get to. That took about 7 years for me to go from 0 subscribers to 100,000. 7 years. And the past 50,000 subscribers came in just a few months. And that is, you know, I think part of it is because once it starts rolling, it kind of snowballs a little bit and it gets bigger faster. But also this recommendation with the Cloudberry video. I mean, the Cloudberry video I put a lot of work into, so I'm glad that, you know, that has been recognized by, I mean, you guys, of course, you are wonderful and give me such great feedback, but that the YouTube the YouTube machine has seen that with its robotic eye, with its like HAL eye, and was like, you know what, we're gonna help you out. And so my channel's been getting suggested, the Cloudberry video specifically, to like gaming channels and stuff like that. And I'm actually really curious if you're new here. First of all, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining. Seeing my random video of me running around eating berries and being like, this is something I want to see more of. I appreciate that very much. But also, I'm extremely curious where you guys got on. Like, what did you watch before you saw my video of a berry and decided to click that? Like, that intrigues me. Because in the comments, I've been seeing a lot of like, I was watching a Let's Play and then your video came up. I don't know why, but here I am and I subscribed. That I'm really curious, like what is going on with the YouTube the YouTube machine, because it's intriguing, just like how it works. Like some people, like they work themselves ragged trying to put out videos, and they put out like these really, really great videos, and they just don't get recommended at all for whatever reason. And then other people who do, like, will just go eat junk food and whatever, and they maybe shoot with their cell phone. Those guys can sometimes get like 1 million subscribers just because of how, the chips are lying, So it's interesting how that works, and I'm really glad that things have gotten to this point. I created this channel not to really make something big. I did it just for myself and just wanted to kind of put my own thing into it. That's why I'm not doing the, hey guys, sort of thing that a lot of people do. I want to make something that's kind of just like what I would like to watch or what I like to make. And the fact that, YouTube is actually like enjoying that as whatever it is, as a robotic thing, is seeing that and putting it out is great. And I think the majority of that is because you guys like it. Like, you're watching and you're clicking the like button and interacting and everything like that. And the YouTube gods are seeing that, and I'm seeing that. And thanks so much. And everyone who's new, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed going through some of the old videos on here. I put that little, if you're new and you don't know where to go, I put that playlist of all top videos. Check that out. And that'll be a good way to start. And then you can go digging around some of the weird stuff out there. There's other series too. It's not just fruit. And some of those are really weird. Oh, by the way, I just saw a super chat. I'm going to take questions. Okay, I'm learning how to do these controls. So I'm pausing things so I can read this without it scrolling by. So excuse me, I'm kind of like not a normal live streamer. I do this like once in a huge while. But yes, Nick 910-ish, you just did a super chat. Oh, $10. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, Nick. And he said, found your channel last month and I've binged a ton of videos since. Thank you for the content. Amazing videos. Well, thank you, Nick. Really appreciate that. And yeah, guys, if you have questions, if I see a super chat, I will pause to answer super chats as they come in, because I don't want that to scroll by and to lose it. But if you don't need to give me money, like if you want to ask a question, I will take little breaks throughout to answer questions. But it does sometimes get overwhelming because the scroll will come through pretty fast on there. So where was I? Yeah. There's the playlist with all like the videos that will show you like the major fruit videos. And if you want to get into the more like cultish things that I put out there, there's me reviewing different coffee alternatives and milk alternatives and stuff like that too. Yeah. So anyway, let's get things started. I got a little note list here. I got a few topics I want to talk about, and then yes, at some point, I'm going to eat some yak cheese candy, and not sure how to feel about this. I'm curious. I think maybe I'll like it. Maybe I'll like this. I'm going to keep an open mind with this one. I don't like it when people are just like immediately like trash food from another country. But I also want to be honest. So I'm going to be open-minded. I like cheese. I've actually have had yak cheese before, but not as a candy. And it was not my favorite thing, but it's all right. So maybe I'll like it better when I have it like this. So we'll see how that goes when we get there. But I'm gonna tease that and and talk about a few things. First, let me just take a quick look to see if there's any questions on here. So if you have a question, go ahead and ask. Right now, I am okay. I see a question here that I'll answer. I'm pausing. I'm going to answer Grace Thomas's question. How did you get into circus work? Yeah. So if you're, great question, Grace. Yeah. What she's talking about is I'm a circus performer. So if you're new to the channel, you might not know that. I try not to talk about it too much because it has absolutely nothing to do with fruit whatsoever. And bringing up like I'm a circus performer just seems like a kind of a vain thing to do to to try to bring that up all the time. But yeah, I actually started as a magician when I was a little kid, maybe like 7 years old. I got a magic set, and I would put on like one of those little plastic ones you get from a dollar store. Actually, I got it from a dollar store, so it was as cheap as you could possibly be. So I got like a little teeny magic set, and I would do these horrible, horrible magic shows for my friends and family. Um, I didn't even really read the. I was so young. I didn't really understand the instructions that much. I just kind of like cobbled together some pathetic tricks with pathetic kind of like tricks using these little props I got from a dollar store. And but I kept at it. I got some magic books, and as I got older and I became a teenager, I kept doing magic. I learned sleight of hand and like all of that stuff. And as I got along with learning magic, I kind of learned that I didn't like certain parts of it, mostly like the misdirection aspect and keeping secrets from people. I didn't like it. It would make me kind of like anxious. So I would do magic shows. I did magic shows when I was a teenager. I like performed for some schools and birthday parties and community theater and stuff like that when I was like 14 to 17, like around those ages. Yeah, I did a lot of magic shows, and I was not very good just because of that kind of anxiety. But one year I bought a straitjacket. So I got like a regulation straitjacket that they use in like mental hospitals, like an actual or mental institutions and hospitals where it was like legit straitjacket. And I put that at the end of my show. And I noticed that like at the end of my magic show, like people who were just kind of like, they thought it was, cute or whatever, the teenager doing the magic tricks. I was not that good. Remind you, not very good. So when I did the straitjacket, I noticed that everybody got quiet. Like, I think partially, I like to think that they were just like entertained. But I think what really was going on is they actually thought I might not get out. So people were really paying attention. And when I got out, like people would like give me like standing ovations and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, people aren't really digging the magic, and I'm not really meshing with the magic so much. But the straitjacket, getting out of stuff that is like not magic at all, totally real, people were connecting with that. So that just gave me kind of like the little light bulb moment where I was like, okay, well, I need to do more stuff like this. So I started leaning more into manipulation. So I do more card manipulation stuff, like shuffling with one hand and cool stuff like that. I would focus more on that. And I learned contact juggling. You can see in some of my videos, I contact juggle in the hemp milk video. That's me, contact juggling. And I learned that when I was like 14 or something. And yeah, and pardon me, there's New York City over here, so there's a siren going by. But anyway, yeah, the magic led into doing things that were kind of like a similar nature, but not magic, like card manipulation, juggling, escape artistry, things like that. And over time, I just started phasing out the magic and focusing more on these like magic-ish sort of thing, more like vaudeville sort of things. And I kind of found a home with sideshow. So like sword swallowing and fire eating and all that sort of stuff. I started learning all of that. And after all of that, after I learned everything I cared to learn from sideshow, I started learning contortion, which is not typically a sideshow thing. It's more done by, like dancers and gymnasts and stuff like that. Dancers and gymnasts, and they'll get on with circuses and they'll perform in circuses. Me, I had a different route. Like I was learning sideshow stuff, but I felt like it worked really well with I felt like the contortion worked really well with the sideshow stuff. It was like both were kind of pushing the body in ways that you shouldn't be pushing your body. And contortion is just linked with circus. So I never really considered myself a circus performer. I considered myself more of like a sideshow performer, vaudeville performer, something like that. But because of that link with the circus, I kind of, without really trying, ended up getting into more circus stuff. So now, yeah, circus is kind of like the world that I'm in. But really, in my mind, when I think about creating any routines or anything that I perform for people, my thought is not traditional circus. It's more like sideshow, magic show, presentation, that sort of thing. So there's your that's the full story. That's full story of how I came to be a circus performer. And yeah, it's been an interesting path, and it oddly has a little bit of a link to the world of fruit stuff, because although I was interested in fruit before even I was doing any performing, even when I was a kid, I had like this kind of fascination with trying weird fruit at the supermarket. Performing brought me around the world. Performing gave me the chance to travel and try different types of fruit when I was traveling. So I was traveling for performing, but then I'd always have this fascination. I go to markets. So like that's one of the reasons why I travel so much. People always ask me on the channel, like, how can you afford to travel? And one of the reasons is that it's a little bit linked to my work. All right, so I noticed a couple of super chats. So let me take a look. First, Alexi Bitton just gave me 100 PHPs. What is that? Is that a Philippine peso, I think? And a GIF. Thank you, Alexi. I appreciate that. And someone else, Chich Bolt, who, $2. Thank you very much. Will the YouTube growth help you make bigger videos? Well, yeah, I think so. Having with having the YouTube channel, the more feedback I get, let me rephrase this. Kind of like how I view creating videos for this channel is to create more like easily digestible videos. So sometimes you'll watch one of my videos and it's just like me. I'm like, I'm going to eat this apple. It's all right. And it's going to be fairly quick, where I'm just like purely like documenting. But then I do more like deep dives. So that'll be like, 10, 15 minutes where it's like a little bit more goes into it. Or I'll make like a recipe, make something out of it, make a recipe with something. And that's like my second level. So it's like simple videos that I'm kind of like putting out something quick, a documentation purpose, maybe something that there's not too much to say about. And then there's the next level up where I'll do like a recipe or something like that. And I like to kind of stagger those a little bit. So if you watch my channel for a while, you may notice that like you don't see like a whole lot of videos that are like super intense, like right next to each other. You won't see like a bunch of like little quick videos next to each other. I try to like space them out a little bit. So I like to have that balance of both, of like the videos that are smaller and then videos that are bigger. And then there's one level higher than that where I do like a big deep dive into something. And that's usually something that I won't do very often because it takes a lot of time. And that would be like the Baobab video, the Coco de Mer, the Cloudberry video, the Brazil nut video, ice cream bean, where it's like it's a long video, focus. I deep dive into it. I usually have to travel to do it, and I reserve that for videos that I feel like I could really bring a lot to it. And I can't do those very often, not because so much of the success on YouTube or funding or anything like that, but more than anything, it's time. Just the time that it takes to put into those is a lot. So I can't put out as many of those huge videos as I can. But where the success on YouTube helps is, not having so many of those little videos and having more mid-range and higher videos, because those do well on YouTube. The little ones, they don't really register. Those are not ones that are going to be doing so well with the greater YouTube algorithm or anything. It's better to create longer form videos overall. So I see that, and I want to do like I've been doing, and I need to have this kind of feedback to keep putting out videos of that level. So it kind of, I think what I'm trying to say is they feed into each other. This YouTube success is kind of like motivating me to put this out and gives me the funding to put these things out of kind of like a greater quality than just these quick videos that are just me reviewing something. But I also do want to keep putting out those videos that are just quick me reviewing something, because I want to put out more videos than just one a week. I'd rather put out 3 like I've been doing. And if I was going to only do big videos, then it would have to be once a week or less. And I'm not going to do just like the really big videos like Cloudberry video, because it would just be like one every like 3 months or something. So I think it's going to be kind of like a balance. But getting kind of like the support from YouTube, it means that I can put more work into it. I can put more time into it. I can put more money into it. I can travel, with getting that kind of response on YouTube. It's the more successful a video is, the more revenue you get. And then, I can, instead of just reviewing something at the supermarket that I just picked up, I can, go to a farm that grows it. And that's where the difference comes in. So kind of babbling there, but I hope that some sense is in that as well. Okay, so I'm gonna talk a little bit. If you have any super chats or anything, go ahead, and I'll pause to answer super chats. I'll try to, and I'll break for questions as well in between. You don't need to pay to give a question, but there's 2 super chats. Okay, so we're gonna. So I'll take one moment to answer these 2, and then I'm going to move on to, I think we're going to maybe do the yak cheese next. So definitely want to make sure that we get to that yak cheese. David Nuon said, do I take any precautions when eating fruit that I haven't tried before? Last time he gave his friend durian, you found they were allergic. Ooh. Yeah, I gave a piece of jackfruit to one of my friends once, and their face just blew up like a red balloon. It was, some people have allergic reactions to fruit. Thankfully, I'm not allergic to anything that I know of. And maybe one day I'll find that out, and, due to the nature of this channel, it's going to be documented. But I think I'm pretty resilient as far as allergies go. As far as safety goes, I do research everything that I eat to make sure that I'm not poisoning myself, especially when it's something that I'm not picking up at like a market. I've had a few instances in the past where I probably shouldn't have eaten something. Like I went to a market and I picked up ume. Ume which is used. I got it in Hong Kong, but it's like most popular in Japan. They put it in wine, where they have ume shu, or you pickle it to make ume boshi. It's actually an apricot, but they dry it out, pickle it, and eat it that way. I wanted to try it raw, so I went to a market, I bought it raw, and I ate it. And I found out later that if you don't pickle it when it's unripe, which is how they usually pickle it and how I bought it, it is highly poisonous, and it can actually make you very, very ill. But it probably wouldn't kill you unless you ate the if you ate a whole bunch of it. I guess maybe you can die from eating it, but it if I were to eat much more than I did, I probably would have gotten quite ill. But the one safeguard with a lot of things is that you take a bite out of it and you realize pretty quickly that you shouldn't be eating it. So when I took a bite of the ume, I was like, oh, shouldn't have done that. Like instant dry mouth chemical taste. So not all fruits are like that. Some fruits are delightfully sweet before they make you very sick or kill you. So yeah, because of that, I do always research. And these days I'm a little bit more cautious than before. I'm not going, even like when I pick something up at a market, if I have the means to research it, then I'll research it to make sure I'm doing it properly, preparing it properly if I need to, eating it properly. And if there's like a doubt in my mind, I usually just kind of like, I'll touch my tongue to it maybe, or take a little bite of it, which I don't recommend doing, but for the nature of the channel, I feel like that's, it might make me ill, but it's not going to kill me. So yeah, I try to take precautions where I can, but sometimes I'm not given that opportunity, and I kind of take my chances a little bit. But yeah, I can only do as much as I can sometimes. But these days, I'm much more cautious than I used to be. I've been sent things in the mail before too, by people who sent me something not realizing that it wasn't edible, and that it was something that would make you sick. So I try to, and it was not like intentional or anything. It wasn't intentional or anything. So I even like when someone hands me a fruit, unless I know them personally, I will also research it. Or if I buy something from a market, you would think, oh, it's okay to eat something from a market. Not always. Sometimes there's a way to eat it to make it safe. But great question, David. And Two Armed Bandito also did a super chat. Thank you. No question or anything, but thank you so much for that. And I'm going to scroll real quick so I don't lose anything. Zoltan Leafy said yak cheese. Yes, Zoltan, it is time to talk about yak cheese. First, let me cleanse my palate. Cleansing my palate before I eat the cheese. That's how ready I am for this. I'll give you a closer look of what we're dealing with here. So, actually, I'm going to get a little bit. I'm going to move my situation here a little bit. Might be a little bit quieter. Okay, so we have, is that Ratto? Yeah, Ratto Bale. Ratto Bale hard dried cheese candy. And this is, I believe, Nepalese. Yeah, on the back it says that it is Himalayan. It also says best before 18 months. However, there is no date on it. So 18 months, maybe that means 18 months since from opening it, because if it expires after 18 months, that is after an indeterminate amount of time, because there is no manufacturer date on it. And the ingredients, if you can see that there, hard, dry cheese. That's it. So there's no salt, no sugar, nothing. It is just hard, dry cheese. And yeah, serving size, it says that there's 10 servings per pack. So you're meant to eat like 2 of these. About. Fun. All right, so if you didn't see the beginning of the video when I talked about this initially, I have had yak cheese before. And although it doesn't say yak cheese on it, I think it's implied, because yak cheese is a uniquely Nepalese thing. And I did a little bit of research on this, and Oh, it does say actually product of Nepal right at the top too. I didn't even see that. Yeah, and this is a thing. Like yak cheese, dried yak cheese is a snack food in Nepal. So I'm just presuming that that's what this is. And the vendor that was selling this, because I live in New York City, there's a pretty decently sized Nepalese community here. And in some parts of Queens, you see like whole streets of just Nepalese restaurants. It's actually gotten quite trendy too. So you'll see momo shops popping up everywhere. And momos are, if you haven't had them, they're delicious. I highly recommend them. They're like dumplings, kind of like almost like a Chinese dumpling, but the spices used are a little bit more like something you'd expect from like more like Indian food, some more like Indian subcontinent sort of spices, but with the preparation of something that is what you would think of as being more of like a Chinese dumpling. And it's just interesting. You can kind of like see the history there, just of like where Nepal is it's north of India and it's like south of China, I believe. I should know that, but yeah, it's like it's where it's located. It makes total sense for that sort of food to exist. Yak cheese, though, I don't think this is such a big thing in either in any place really around this, but in the Himalayas, it is a popular thing. I think maybe in Tibet, people eat this, but yeah, don't know that much about it. But I have had yak cheese fresh, not dried, and I remember it tasting kind of gamey, a little bit gamey, a little grassy. I've noticed there's four dislikes on this video, and I presume that those are people that don't like yak cheese. And I'm sorry, guys. So I'm it is very hard, and it smells like cheese. It smells like like a very strong cheese, like maybe like more in the direction of like a funky Parmesan kind of cheese. And yeah, I'll give you before I'm hesitating a little bit because I'm not sure if I'm gonna like this or not. But here's a closer look at it. And it is hard. It is quite hard. My microphone, by the way, is here. So if I'm tapping on it in front of my camera, it doesn't do anything. So if you want to have like the ASMR moment of a lifetime of me tapping on a piece of yak cheese candy, yeah, here you go. You're welcome. All right, so here we go. Oh my God, it's really hard. It's like it's like putting a piece of plastic in your mouth. It doesn't feel like food. It's like super, super dried out. I can't even, I wouldn't be able to break it with my teeth. It's, there's a flavor there, and that flavor is smoky. It's smoky tasting, like smoked Gouda. So for the next like 7 hours, I'm just going to be doing this on camera until I get this soft enough to actually chew on it. And this thing is like a rock. It's not bad. It's just like a dried out. It's like if you put a piece of plastic in your mouth that had like a faint smoked Gouda flavor. I have a feeling that it would be funkier once it gets softer. But here's the thing with this. The word candy, Gary said, just did a super chat and said, don't choke. We can't call 911. We don't know where you live. Thank you, Gary. I'll be okay. Yeah, it's not candy in the traditional sense. And I think that is kind of where it's a little misleading. This is candy in the sense that it is a hard piece of food that you suck on like candy. It has a similar mouthfeel to having like a Werther's original. But it's not sweet. It is just a smoky flavor. It's not even really a strong cheesy taste because it's so hard that you're not really getting that. But this is the sort of thing where it's maybe like a satisfying thing to have. Like if you don't want to be like, instead of chewing a piece of gum, you have a piece of cheese candy in your mouth. So as the day goes on, you can suck on this thing and eventually it will probably get soft and you can like chew on it. So it's not that bad. It's all right. I think that this is the sort of thing that if you're raised in an area where this is a thing, it's not going to be like so abnormal. It's like why you would be chewing gum. Chewing gum is a weird thing when you think of it. This would be like something like that, only it's not a sweet, it's a savory thing. But that's okay. It's a little plasticine, you know? So it's not like the most appealing thing, but I could see this being a good thing if you want to like stave off hunger. Like if you were going for like a long trip or long walk or something, put a piece of cheese candy in your mouth and you're good to go for hours. So it's all right. I would never buy it again, but I can see why somebody would want that. It's a little hard to talk with this thing in, so I'm going to take it out. I think I have the idea, though, and it does taste like yak cheese. Like that flavor of that cheese flavor in there is like yak cheese that I've had in the past, where it's like a little bit grassy, a little gamey, but it's also smoky. The yak cheese I had in the past wasn't smoky. This one is. But yeah, it's okay. It's not the best thing in the world, but you know, I don't hate it. I can see why someone would like it. Yeah, I've been trying to be a little careful with reviewing things because, you know, everyone has like their own tastes, you know? And I think it's important to try to understand those tastes rather than look at it from as an outside party and ridicule it. So I know it seems like a weird thing to have yak cheese candy, but I think it makes sense. It makes sense. And okay, so I will take another question. Okay, so Ken super chatted while I was enjoying that cheese candy. He said, who are my favorite YouTubers and podcasts? Have I seen Crime Pays but Botany Doesn't? You think I would appreciate them? Again, thank you, Ken. Ken is a regular contributor to the channel. He's also sent me a bunch of things in the mail. I've got a Beauty Berry episode coming up, thanks to Ken. So Ken, thank you very much. And good YouTube channels. I do watch YouTube. I don't watch YouTube channels that are like mine. I think that is it's not useful to be because I want to be original. I want to be as original as I can, and I don't want to like accidentally pick up any flavor profile even or any kind of anything from another channel. And also, like, my world is like so much centered around reviewing fruit all the time that the last thing that I want to do is watch somebody review fruit. So I tend to avoid YouTube channels that are anything like mine. So I haven't seen Crime Pays, but Botany does it. I get that comment a lot that I should do a collaboration with them or something like that. And I've actually looked into that, and the guy is like, you can't reach him. Couldn't find like an email address or anything. So if anyone knows the guy who does that, let him know. I'd collaborate with him. But he's also got a bigger channel than mine, and I don't really. That's like I feel like that's like a weird thing for like a channel that, you know, to approach a channel that's got like 1 million subscribers and say, you know, let me collaborate with you. Because I'd rather it not be like, I want you to give me exposure. I would want it to be something that's like mutual. With him, I think maybe we're about even, but I think he's got maybe a little bit more than me. I don't really know, honestly, but I would. I totally would. As far as YouTubers that I like, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. I tend to I don't watch like a lot of channels that are like the big mega channels that have like millions of subscribers. The biggest channel that I watch is I watch Sorted Food, which is like a food channel in the UK. They kind of like Food Network sort of thing. They've got like 2 million subscribers. And Angry Video Game Nerd, it's pretty great. I'm not even really interested that much in the games that he's talking about, but what I like about it is that it's original. Like, it's not like formulaic. Like I can't watch a video where they're kind of like pulling the tricks that a lot of YouTubers do, like memes on the screen and like zooming the camera in and out and like thumbnails where they make their eyes really big and blue. Like all that stuff. Like anytime that someone is coming at me with like marketing stuff, like they're doing something just to get me to pay attention, I immediately turn off. I can't do it. So I like channels that are like creative but honest, you know. One channel that's really good that is for a while was so big, and over time, like, my channel ended up getting bigger. I'm like, whoa, really? Like, because I feel like they deserve a lot more views, is one Katie and Eric, which is like a travel channel. It's like a couple that lives in Japan. They travel around. And I watched it originally because I went to Laos and I couldn't find any information on what to do in Laos. Like, all the videos online were people going to this one area. I think it's Vieng Vang, which is where people go to, like, you can get like a happy pizza there. You know, it's like people go inner tubing and smoke pot. It's like not what I wanted. I wanted to go there for like history and like going off into the middle of nowhere. So when I was trying to find information about where to go in Laos, I found no videos except for theirs. Like, they're the only people that went there and actually like went out into like the middle of nowhere, like places that were not very well touristed. And it actually helped me plan my trip. And just like watching them go through Laos at the end of it, I was like, you know what, that's pretty great. So I started watching other ththings, and that's like the one channel that I'll kind of like stick around with. But yeah, check them out. It's Katie and Eric, but it's like spelled in a weird way. Her name is not Katie as it's normally spelled. It's Katie with a Y. So it's KYDE, I think. So if you want to check them out, yeah, they deserve more subscribers. They've got like 50,000 or something, and they put so much work into their videos that, yeah, I think they could use the extra subs. They definitely deserve it. And I also really like the Cinema Snob. Cinema Snob's great. I'm a big horror movie nut, and like I really like obscure movies. What Cinema Snob does is he just digs up like the most obscure movies out there, and he has like this kind of like snobby character, and he watches and reviews these movies. And yeah, I love stuff like that. Like I like watching strange B movies and stuff like that. So just seeing someone else who has that interest is kind of great. And also like a channel that is bigger than mine, but should be really, really big. You know, he's got like less than 200,000 subscribers, and he really should have like 1 million. Like, I'm surprised. So yeah, I would check out Cinema Snob also. I feel weird being like, oh, you know, check out PewDiePie. It's like I'd rather, like, if I'm going to give my a recommendation to a channel, I'd rather it be somebody that is someone I appreciate that is also should have more subscribers than they do. So those two are ones I would definitely check out. Trying to think if there's any others. There's one. I like this one. Curiosity Incorporated is really good. It's about this guy in Canada that has an antique shop, and it's kind of like American Pickers or Pawn Stars, like a show. It's more like American Pickers. Like if you ever watched that show, where it's like these two guys that go out there in the world and they go through people's like old barn and find collectibles and do like reselling and stuff like that. Only difference is it's real. Like reality TV is I can't say too much about reality TV, but it's let's just say I don't think all of it's that legit. So to see someone who's doing something that is like American Pickers, but you know that it's real. It's just some guy, and it's just from his point of view and his family, like going around doing it. There's something so nice and authentic about it, and it's not always like, oh, we found another like whatever, but Spider-Man #1. Oh, here's another one. It's like you can tell with reality TV, I kind of don't buy a lot of that stuff, but with him, it's like it's not always interesting. Sometimes it's like, oh, like I found like a box of like whatever, and it was eaten by squirrels. Oh well, I guess that's a loss. Like it's kind of fun to see something that is so it's like in that same sort of vein, but authentic. And I'm a big nerd for antiques and collectibles, so I like collecting stuff. And that's but I don't have any space. So seeing someone who's going out and doing that, like going on hunts for antiques and collectibles, is kind of like it's kind of cool. I kind of feel like I'm living vicariously because I don't have room in my apartment to do it myself anymore. Yeah, so I think that's it for that question. You asked for podcasts also. I don't listen to a ton of podcasts. I like Reply All is really good, where and that one's popular. That's a common one. It's kind of like it's good because I like a podcast that does like a good like rabbit hole dive, where they'll just like go on with like a little mystery and kind of go into investigative journalism into it. It's kind of like what's appealing with like true crime sort of things, but and I like true crime podcasts, but over time it just kind of gets a little bit down. You know, I don't want to just like hear about people getting raped and murdered all the time. You know, sometimes you want something a little more lighthearted than that. So I used to listen to one called Last Podcast on the Left all the time. It was all about true crime, but then they switched over to Spotify, and I'm not on Spotify, and I'm like, and it's kind of like a downer anyway. So I don't. They're great, but yeah, I don't. I kind of decided to listen to things that were a little bit happier, and yeah, Reply All is kind of like that in a way, but instead of going down a rabbit hole of like who killed John Doe, it's like, why did this weird thing happen to my computer? And it's bizarrely interesting. It sounds like a bad idea, like, oh, it's going to be like all like tech talk or something. It really isn't. It's like internet mysteries and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Reply All is good. I listened to Penn Sunday School, which is a podcast that Penn Jillette has. And it's like an odd thing that's good for me because he talks show business, and like I'm a circus performer or a sideshow performer, and listening to somebody who's talking about that is appealing to me, and talks about magic and stuff like that. So I listen to him. Don't always agree with everything that he says. He's a very like outspoken guy, but it's interesting hearing his point of view and also getting like an inside look of somebody who's in my business, but in show business, but at like this crazy high level. So it's helpful, I think, to listen to stuff like that. So I like listening to Penn Sunday School. It's Penn and Teller, if anyone wants to check that out. I have a cat, by the way. This is Vostok. She came to join. And she did really came to sit on my lap for warmth, but she'll be. If you have any questions for Vostok, feel free. Okay, so I saw another question from Matthew Picard. Matthew says, mushrooms are the fruits of the fungal kingdom. Have I ever had an interest in foraging and sampling wild mushrooms? You're a mushroom forager. Well, Matthew, I am sorry to say I don't like mushrooms. It's like the one thing there's a few things I'm kind of picky about, but for some reason, like mushrooms just don't jive with me. They should. Like I'm a vegetarian, and like mushrooms are very often treated like a meat substitute, but I just never liked them. I didn't like them when I was a kid, and I think that's just kind of like carried over. So although I can like eat a piece of yak cheese candy, I can't eat a mushroom. So I've tried to not review them. I've tried to like mushrooms. Like anytime someone's like, oh no, but you'll like this one. Yeah, this is like this special kind of mushroom that tastes really good. You should try this. I'll try it, and every time I'm just kind of like, I don't have the taste for it. I'm gonna have to like slowly immerse myself in the world of mushrooms to get an appreciation, like just to like them. And I think that in order to do a video series reviewing mushrooms, you gotta love mushrooms. And I think maybe one day I'll like mushrooms enough to eat them on a pizza, but I don't know if I'll get to the point where I would feel like I'm a good source for information on it. So yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I think that's a great idea, though. There are so many mushrooms out there, and I kind of feel like I'm missing out a bit on them. So yeah. Okay, we got another one here. Equinox Mechanism. What is your favorite vegetarian dish? Also, I just brought home some Osage oranges to make the house smell like fall. Love your vids. Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, Osage oranges are an interesting one. That was there's a lot of work to eat the seeds, but they are cool. Fun to throw it at somebody. I didn't realize that they have much of a smell, but maybe if you get enough of them, it makes your house smell like fall. That's another use for them. That's pretty good. I don't recommend trying to eat the seeds unless you got a lot of free time. My cat is gonna like walk on these keys. She's like eyeing the keyboard of my laptop and wants to, I think, sit on my laptop, which will be problematic for the video. So I'm gonna try to mind that I'm like wrangling a kitten right now. So your question was, what's my favorite vegetarian dish? Oh, okay. I have to point this out. My cat is currently licking the yak cheese candy. Let me see if I wait. Okay. I think, although maybe I don't like it that much, my cat likes it. And that's really what counts, right? Okay, let me get around this table here. That was very cute. I will answer your question in 1 second. Let me just readjust my camera here. That was very important information to document. I think everybody agrees with that, right? That was very cute. So my favorite there's so many. I've actually, if you follow my Instagram, I have been trying to eat vegetarian food from every country around the world. I love trying new foods, although I don't like mushrooms. I love trying like anything else. So I've been like every weekend I go to another restaurant from a different country and try another type of food. And I've had so many things that it's like impossible now for me to pick one. There's just like no way. There's so many good foods out there. One that I find myself going back to like so many times, and I've learned how to make, is laksa, Malaysian laksa, which is so good. It's like the best thing in the world. If you've never had laksa, you should definitely check it out. Try to make it. If you have a Malaysian restaurant near you, if you're lucky enough to have that. Even in New York, there aren't that many. There's just a handful of them. If you're lucky enough to have a Malaysian restaurant you can go there. They will have laksa. Eat it. If not, try making it. It's not that hard. It's a little bit like Thai food or Indonesian food, like in that direction. It's I guess kind of like pho, like it's a noodle soup, but it has this incredible spice mixture to it, and coconut milk, and tofu in it, and greens and long beans, and everybody does it their own way. And there's different ways. There's a curry way that has coconut in it. There's a Sarawak way that has a lot of tamarind in it. And I've tried making like a few different ways of having it, and they're all completely delicious. So yeah, laksa I think is one that I don't know if it's my favorite in the world, but it's definitely one that I will never get sick of. Okay, so I've got another question here. Gigs sent a super chat. Gigs said, "Hi, I got your durian shirt. It's nice." Oh, thank you for buying a shirt, Gigs. Do you have any good cat-related stories? How did you get your cat? Is it hard to have a cat in New York? So that is a great question. I'd love to talk more about my cat, Vostok. Before I do, you reminded me that of something else that's on my little cheat sheet here. Is I wanted to talk about these the shirt situation. So I'm gonna answer your question in 1 second, but before I'm gonna forget if I don't bring this up, because I've been talking for about an hour now. Oh man. So probably have to draw this to a close fairly soon. So I'm gonna answer your question, but I also want to talk about this shirt sale. So I made a post on my community thing on YouTube. I made a post on YouTube that I'm currently having a sale on shirts. If you want to buy a shirt, now's a good time. Besides the fact they're on sale, I'm also going to be pausing my store for a little bit. Probably going to be... There's a fire somewhere. Wait for that guy to go by. Hopefully it's not my building. Oh. Yeah, so I'm going to be having a sale on my site where you can get 10% off. It's use the promo code WEIRD150, so WEIRD 150, and you can get 10% off anything on the site. So that's one reason why now is a good time if you ever wanted to buy a shirt or anything else on my channel. Now that's the time to do it, to get the sale. But also, yeah, I'm going to be pausing my store for a while in the beginning of probably like in December. So if you wanted to get like a shirt for like Christmas or something, or give it to somebody that you think might like it, now is a good time, because not only you get the sale, but also if you wanted it for the holiday season, you won't be able to get it. I'm going to be pausing the store because I'm probably going to be going somewhere for Christmas. So I won't be able to send them out. I do all the shirts here. I don't like doing like Teespring or Redbubble or anything like that. I have these made by independent printer, and I send them out personally. So I have them in stock here. So if I'm not here, that's the one downside to not using like Teespring. Well, two downsides. One is that whenever you see shirts for sale on a video, like right below the video, it's through Teespring. And when you sell a shirt, you don't get a lot of money off of that. And it's supporting like a major company. But yeah, it's great advertising to have your shirt there. But I would rather do it myself, besides the fact that it's just more worthwhile for me. I also get to support an independent printer rather than like a major company that prints shirts to order. So I actually have shirts in stock and won't be able to send them out. So if you're interested in buying a shirt, there's a sale, WEIRD150, to get the 10% off. And yeah, you could do that this month and next month. Yeah, at some point I'm going to be pausing it. So now probably should act fast with that one. Also, things are kind of going out of stock a little bit. Since the channel hit 150, a lot more people have been buying shirts. Thank you so much if you bought a shirt. But I'm probably not going to take another order of shirts in. I'm not going to restock my inventory until after the holidays. So now is a good time if you've been waiting. Don't buy a shirt if you don't want a shirt. But if you've been wanting one, kind of been waiting, you might want to do it sooner than later for a couple of reasons. Anyway, so Giggs said, do I have any good cat stories? How did I get my cat? And so my cat, well, I could let me start with this. How I got my cat. I got my cat from a shelter that was not really a shelter. It was like two strange women in Manhattan that had like a brownstone, a very nice house that was just like overflowing with animals. They had a ton of cats like everywhere, just like roaming around, and not in cages unless the kittens were in cages, but all the other cats were around. It seemed like probably not the best idea to be doing that, but they seemed like nice people. But yeah, the cats were just like roaming around, like strange cats. And I saw a picture of my cat online on a listing site of, it was like petfinder.com or something. And I just was like, this is the one, because she had the two different colored eyes, and I am a David Bowie fan who also has two different colored eyes. So I was like, oh yeah, I got to get the Bowie cat. So I want to check out that cat. So I went there and I said like, well, I want to see this cat. Her name wasn't Vostok when I got her. Of course, I named her that. It was Sansa, named, I think, after Game of Thrones. I think Sansa maybe with a Z or something, because there was already 3 Sansas there. You know, like everyone was naming their pets after Game of Thrones characters when I got her. This was a couple years ago. And they're like, oh yeah, she's hiding in the cat tree. So they took me to this cat tree at the back of their house, and meanwhile, there's cats walking around everywhere. Remember that. And inside the cat tree, there's like the little hole where the cats jump into, and there's like a big book in the way. And they said, like, yeah, she likes to hide. She always hides behind this book. And they took the book away, and this little head like poked out, and she looked at me, and I looked at her, and I was like, oh, so cute. And then she ran like hell. She was like, ran like hell. She bolted for her life, ran away from me the moment she saw me. And I was left with this kind of like difficult decision where I was like, do I want to get a cat that is likely going to be like a cat that's going to hide behind a toilet all the time? And I looked at a few others, and there was like some kittens there, and I was like, oh, kittens would be great. I love kittens. So I was kind of debating on taking her or some kittens. And I just thought, like, well, she's maybe like a little bit of a difficult case, maybe not the most desirable cat. It's like some of these cats would like walk right up to you. They just like, please take me home. She was just terrified. And they explained to me that she came from a hoarder house, like a hoarding home, like which kind of was like what she was in again, but you know, probably a lot better. But she was in a hoarding situation with someone who had like a crazy cat lady had a ton of cats. And I think that she just being like a small cat, like you saw her, she's like super tiny. She's a full grown cat. She's like, I can't remember. She's 5. I think she's almost 5 or almost 5 right now. So she's like a full grown cat, but she's small, and she was really small when I got her. So I think she just got like picked on a lot. So I gave it some thought, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take her. And when I got her, and I told the women running this shelter, oh, I want her. They're like, oh, okay, well, you know, you should really get a second cat. You should take 2 cats. That way they have company. And I'm like, well, she's not like a bonded pair or anything. She doesn't seem to be, she seems terrified. Like she's not getting along with any of the other cats here. She's so skittish. And they're like, oh, well, that's not true. She gets along with Chloe. And like, there's this cat, Chloe, over here. And they get along all the time. I saw them sleeping together like this one time. Like they love each other. And like on cue, Chloe, this big brown cat, walks over to my cat and goes, smacks her in the face. So I'm like, all right, I think I'm just going to take the one. I think maybe she'll be happier as a solo cat. And it took her like a couple days being here. But when she realized that she was alone and that nobody was going to pick on her, no other cats were around, she brightened. And now, like, as you saw, she's like a baby. Like, she's always on me. She loves people like so much, but yeah, doesn't like other animals. And I think just because she was a petite cat growing up in a hoarding house, she probably got beat up a lot by the other cats. Like, cats are so territorial that I think she learned not to get along with them, especially from being in a hoarding house and then an adoption agency that was packed full of cats. So I feel like I kind of like rescued her from like this situation and took her to a place where she can like be her own cat. So here she's nice and relaxed. She doesn't have to worry about any other animals around. And anytime I have like anyone over, even like a pet sitter who's just like coming over just to like watch her for like a day or two, she loves them. She immediately like falls in love with like any person, but another animal and doesn't work. So she's such a sweet cat, and I've had her for a couple years now, and I think there's a lot I can say about my cat. Remind me maybe next time I do a live stream to talk about why I named her Vostok. That's a story, and I'd like to get into more, but I've been talking for over an hour, guys, so I think it's probably time to wrap this up. I'm going to take one quick look here to see if there's any super chats that I missed. I'm just looking at the screen. I will answer quick questions as they fly by, but I think that is it. A lot of people. Okay, a lot of people want me to talk about sugarcane. Sugarcane. Okay. I've had sugarcane. Sugarcane is not a fruit. I would like to talk about it in the future. However, when I talk about it, it will probably be in another country. I had it once in Laos, and people would eat it just like chunks of it there. They'd have like little like street vendors would sell little baggies of sugarcane, and I bought it like that. Tastes really good. But it's a grass, I think, right? So it's not been like on my immediate list to review. But in the future, I would like to actually go somewhere and where I can treat sugar properly, harvest it, see how it's getting cut, see how it gets pressed into a juice, maybe go to a sugar factory. I think I mentioned that last time I did a live stream, actually. I wanted to go to a sugar factory when I was in Jamaica, but I just didn't have time. I ran out of time when I was there. But sugar is going to be a big one. One day I'll do a sugarcane video, and it's going to be great. Maybe that'll be like one of those big videos that I was talking about. Okay, I just saw a a super chat by Brian Kim says. Brian, I was trying to wrap up the video, and that's a doozy, man. Let me take a sip of water. Thank you for the question, Brian. And thank you for the super chat. He said, "Hey, Jared, I am graduating college, but I'm lost in what I want to do in my life. Any advice?" Brian, you are talking to a circus performer fruit hunter. So my advice is maybe not going to be the most practical advice, but what I did is I went to college for English, and this is what it brought me. So if you're graduating college and you're not sure what to do, I would suggest that some people would say just kind of like jump in, just like do anything. Be an artist, like who cares, man? But you can only do that for so long. And I have come across a lot of people in my life who I met when I was just starting as a performer, like working for free at dingy clubs in New York. And then I would go to a dingy club in New York just for fun, and I'd see them still performing for free. I think that you have to be very strategic and practical, but also do what you like. You only get one life, so you gotta do what you want. If there's something that you're interested in, anything at all, even if it's being a circus performer or reviewing fruit, the sky's the limit. You can do anything, and you should pursue that. You should pursue the things that you really like in life, but you should also do something that's going to make you money, because in order to survive doing anything that is fun, you probably need some funds. A lot of people that do like performing work, they're independently wealthy, for their family gives them money or like whatever, and they're lucky to have that. You can buy your way into doing the things that you dream, or you can kind of actually support yourself. So like what I did is I had an office job for a long time, and then on the weekends I would do what I really like to do, and then later on I slowly found a way to make the things that I like to do profitable, and I phased out the jobs. So I went from like full-time work to part-time work to temporary work, and then I occasionally would just take work here and there, doing menial stuff. I worked in an office for a bit. I did data entry. I was one of those guys that handed out flyers on the street. I worked at a grocery store. I did a lot. I worked in factories. I worked at a lot of places. Catering. Catering's terrible, but it puts things in perspective. I think that finding a way that you can support yourself and be comfortable is what's important. And also put time into the thing that you love. And over time, you can actually transfer some of that over. And then if you're lucky and work really hard, then you can actually do the thing that you really want to be doing. That's the advice from me, though. So I'm kind of, I'm not maybe the best person to ask, but maybe take a look at what you really want to be doing in your life and find a way to make that happen. But always be smart about it. You can't just like jump right off the cliff, because eventually it's going to catch up with you and you'll be like, oh wait, I don't have any money. And then, you're going to be stuck. You gotta be smart about it, but also don't give up on trying the things that you want to do. So that's advice that I would give myself when I was ending college. I'm not sure if that applies to you, but either way, good luck. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much, everybody. I will be doing maybe another super chat next month. But holidays, I'm probably going to vanish for a little bit. So if you don't see me in a while, I will at least be seeing you through my videos. And I will, I got a thank you from Brian. Okay, glad to hear it, Brian. Brian said he will do his best hustling. So that's the good attitude to have. And so I think that's about it, guys. I will see you next time. I'm going to be continuing to put out 3 videos a week, so might be a little while until I do a live stream. I'll try to do one next month, but if not, might be a couple of months, maybe 2 or 3. But I'll see what I can do. In the meanwhile, tune in on the channel Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday for a bunch of fun videos coming up. There's still a few more coming from Finland. I also have some videos from Estonia, which I went to when I was in Finland, and a whole bunch of North American videos coming along the way after that. So until then, I will see you all next time. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.